The standard-bearer of the Coalition for Democratic Change, George Weah, warns partisans against provocation during these elections. The chairperson of the National Elections Commission, David Brown Lasana, urges politicians to engage the current campaign process in a peaceful and tolerant manner and form. Grand Bassa County District 5 Representative hopeful Christine Joa Secho-Dennis calls on her female colleagues to remain firm, focused, and committed to their political goals, void of distraction. Hello and welcome to Boss TV News. I'm Vanessa Picard. The news in detail. Supporters of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change on the first day of the opening of the political campaign activities were seen carrying a casket bearing the pictures of Joseph Boakai, political leader of major opposition bloc Unity Party. According to the CDC supporters, the casket shows the defeat of the Unity Party standard-bearer in his possible political death after losing the October 10 polls. The alleged act by supporters of the CDC violates the Farmington Declaration, which was signed by political parties as a commitment to ensure peaceful elections in October. The Farmington Declaration forbids members of political parties from engaging in acts that involve discrimination, physical and emotional harms, and acts that may undermine the peace and stability of the country before and after elections. Meanwhile, President George Weah has described as sad and unacceptable the parading of caskets by supporters and partisans of the ruling Coalition of Democratic Change during the official campaign on Saturday. Speaking at a Thanksgiving program, the Liberian leader reminded his partisans that they are the sitting government. As such, they need to be responsible and void of provocation during these political activities.
We are the ruling government. Yes, we are Coalition of Democratic Change. We have to set the pace for peaceful elections without provocation. And I want to appeal to the chairman. What happened yesterday, on the sound of my voice, to all Liberians, and all sedition, reaction, the accelerated for voters. When you align yourself with God, you cannot align yourself with Satan. Believe in God and continue to pray, because only God knows the plan for you and his plan. Yesterday we had an important event. I was at work. It's a religious event, and I saw on the internet people carrying caskets. This will never happen again. Maybe, I don't know, because I didn't look at the faces. If you're new to CDC, CDC is a peaceful party. From where we came from, 2005 elections to 2010 elections, we hold a pillar of peace in this country, democracy, true democracy. We have the mantle of true democracy in the country. We don't want any provocation. We just came from the night, we talk about peace and stability. Do not carry anyone's casket.
Labor Minister Councillor Charles Gibson said Liberia has made tremendous strides in the fight against human trafficking in the region. According to him, the improvement in the fight against human trafficking is credited to partners in the sector. Liberia, he noted, has achieved high-level grading and noted that more needs to be done.
Liberia was the only country in Africa that produced oil, and we hold that to his office, large extent. And we're blessed by his timing, and as such, the human trafficking department during his tenure was able to repatriate with assistance from partners over 112 victims. With partners, we were able to convene programs that was held at the Baptist Seminary, where all of them were hosted. We went through 4 days symposium with partners in the UN, the US Embassy, and other help. We were able to take them through entrepreneurship training, psychosocial training, and now the very United States government, through ROM, liaised with Liberian government, provided $1,000 US in cash and kind to the first 50% of those that went through that symposium. These achievements was coupled with the political work.
As part of the transformation within the sector, Councillor Gibson disclosed the setup of 3 additional safe homes in Grand Jide, Lofa, and Nima counties. Already, he stated that about 112 victims of the resort of human trafficking were trained in circle, social counseling, entrepreneurship, and management, amongst others. Here once again is Councillor Gibson.
When I got to the Ministry of Labor in 2020, there was none. When he came, he went to visit the United States through its instrumentality government, provided funding to ROM, and we partnered and established 2 additional safe homes. Through that same initiative, we are at the verge of establishing safe homes in Grand Jide, in Nima, and in Lofa. The feasibility study is already.
Well, viewers, if you're just joining us, you're watching Boss TV News, a half-hour news presentation on major happenings in Liberia and beyond. My name is Vanessa Picarn, presenting on the 7th day of August 2023. One of our top stories we're following: CDC political leader warns against provocation. This plus sports news and much more developments coming up after this break. Please be my guest. Welcome back to Boss TV News. Let's now bring you more stories. The chairperson of the National Elections Commission, David Brown Lasana, has called on politicians to keep a peaceful and civil ongoing political process. Speaking during the official launch of the campaign process, Madam Lasana emphasized the need for peace and tolerance to be the hallmark of all political activities across the country.
The National Elections Commission officially announces the start of political campaign to commence at 12:01 in the morning on Saturday, 5th August 2023. The political campaign will end at midnight on the 8th of October 2023. Let us all go into the political campaign peacefully as we move forward to the 10th October 2023 presidential and legislative elections.
Grand-Bassa County District 5 Representative candidate Christine Joa-Setro-Dennis has vowed to keep her campaign civil and professional and void of violence. Speaking to Boss TV News, Madam Dennis encourages her female counterparts to remain focused and committed to the political process in order to make a difference in the country.
I think we should stick to the issue. We should engage each other peacefully, not with violence, to maintain our peace, to keep our peace. We should, stick to the topic and the challenges that we are faced with, not to be divisive, not to be rude, but in keeping peace, you don't attack people, you stick to the issue. And in doing that, I think we have a peaceful and violence-free elections. Being in politics, even though it's a bit different, but it's almost like your home. When you set your priorities straight, you set it right, you get things going. And we are vision bearers. We ensure that, I'm talking about women now, we ensure that things are done properly and correctly. We want things to be done straight, not like this. So women being in politics is a good thing, and we hope that a lot of women will see this as an opportunity for us to move our country forward.
Youth activist McLean Renner has staged a one-day-long protest at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission over what he termed as early deployment of sensitive and non-sensitive election materials. According to McLean, the early deployment of elections material undermines the conduct of free, fair, and peaceful elections. He alleged that the act by NEC may trigger an election dispute.
If you witness the National Election Commission latest press release, they said to the Liberian people by the authority of the great Madam, in person of the Director Lasana Brandel, said to us that in fact the deployment of sensitive and non-sensitive election material had kicked off. Mind you, in my opinion, and in thousands of Liberian opinion, you will realize that in fact it will trigger an election dispute in the future to come. I give you a pure historic setting. What happens here in this country, October 30, 1985. October 30, 1985, the election that was marred by brutus and high level of corruption by the former president of Liberia, Samuel Kayado. It was the same thing that happened. Today, we have roughly about 64 more days to election, 2 months on days. Why is the NDC in rush to deploy non-sensitive and sensitive material? Those sensitive material are voter roll, ballot order material. Sensitive, non-sensitive material are computer, printer, and other. What sensitive material are ballot and other things? Are you telling me that in fact the NEC have sub a station in the 15 counties that when those material are carried out, those material will be placed there and kept there? No. If the NEC deploy those sensitive material right now, what will happen? I can bear you witness, you can be the witness, and the public will be the judge that in fact those material will be deployed in the confine of maybe the developmental superintendent or maybe some high-ranking official in the county that can compromise the election. And mind you, they say in nobody's favor. Whether you're from party X, whether you're from party Y, it is not in your favor. My advocacy here is the deployment of early election material with a serious concern and back a serious eyebrow on our election in our country.
McLean at the same time condemned a recent act by the supporters of CDC carrying a casket bearing the pictures of Ambassador Joseph Boakai with the inscription "Rest in Peace, Boakai." He, however, called on political parties to put the peace of the country first as they continue their campaign activities. He spoke to Boss TV News during a protest at the headquarters of NEC.
But don't cast that on your head. It is time where my blood have been wasted in the public there to maintain peace and stability in this country. I said to CDC, I said to Taiwan Congo, that there's other political party around here. Don't do that in this time. Don't do that. Do not work on the conscious mind of citizens to go against and erupt violence in our country. The best way to do is to every political party must remain kind. Every political party must remain steadfast. Every political party must be focused in this time. And John Adiva McLean Renner to raise the issue if the NDC, in person of the Reactor Brown Lasana, cannot resolve that issue, she must resign. The CDC detested the patient and the structural peace that we are getting here. You took casted with different party leaders, went to people party headquarters, like what Taiwan Congo did. Taiwan Congo Verita, any parties, all of the political party headquarters, testing the peace. What I call for, I gave you a play about the destruction. 2 months ago, the people of APC and SFPC in Sierra Leone were held us cut off. If you are wearing green and you are wearing red, you will see each other. I said to you, be mindful, be courageous, be peaceful in the advocacy. Do not undermine the peace here. The fundamental declaration of peace has been undermined. Have been undermined by the quote-unquote VP, Senate Brother of the Union Party, who said that in fact the citizen could wreck this election. Why make those sorts of reckless statements, Jeremiah Kuhn? Why make such a reckless statement? Are you telling us that in fact citizens will wreck the election and rest zero Abra?
Well, let's now bring you our sports news with Star Jari after this break.
Welcome to Buzz TV Sport News. I'm Star Jari presenting. Wolgisi FC has been promoted to 2nd Division League of the Liberia Football Association. The club, which is Lofa-based team, is owned by Momo Saras. Presenting the team to the county's Superintendent Joyce Kima, Saras pointed out that Lofians have talents and it's about time to support talents and commitment with passion and dedication.
I have come today to unveil to your office as Superintendent of the County a second division team. What you see is a team owned by me that was in the 3rd division category, but they went to the playoff and they got promoted to the 2nd division. This is the first time for Lofa to have a 2nd division team. that indicates that football is on a right path, like in other countries like Limba, Baza, Bong, just to name a few. This country has got so much potential. It only requires leadership, commitment, and passion for work that will get us to where we want to be. So this morning, we are pleased to present to you Team Rogizi, who has not achieved the status of a second division team. That means that your county is going to be engaged with a lot of sporting activities because the second division team will see other teams from other counties coming here to play a team, because we'll be again competing for the first division slot. So it's going to be a tough time. Your county is going to witness a lot of sporting elevation. We want the young people, the young kids to emanate a good example of these bigger ones, the other ones that who have elevated Europe into a second division team. So today we are pleased, Honorable Superintendent, as an authority of the county, to present to you this team, because this team is going to be.
Receiving the team, Superintendent Kima hailed Mr. Momo for putting the counties on the map relative to sports. He thanked Superintendent Kima hailed Mr. Momo for putting the counties on the map relative to sports. He thanked the players for the improvement thus far, but urged them to do more as the counties face in the footballing sector.
We appreciate you for exposing Lofa to the cold. On behalf of the citizens of this county, I want to appreciate you.
Thank you.
Today, Lofa can boast in conversations, in corners. When I sit with people, sometimes I disguise myself. I go in gatherings. People talk about, in this country today, when you talk about sport, Nimba Lofa. I share a history with you. When the South African team came to visit Liberia to play the game, His Excellency on the field visited the field of play. And after Liberia was defeated by that club, he said, and I quote, the president said, if you put Nimba and Lofa team together, they can beat the South African.
Meanwhile, one of the trainers of the club, Kali Dwana, commended fans of the club for their moral and financial support to the team. He said their new promotion will make them not complacent, but to do more until they reach their goals.
We have started, the team has been elevated to another level, but we have spent a couple of years in third division, and today we have a second division team. It's a pride for us to have a team here in the second division league, where you will see teams from all around the country will be coming to play us here, and we ourselves will go there. So we just want to tell our fans up there that they should be in the mood of supporting their team that going to another level. And we'll also assure them that this team won't stay long in the second division league. Will make sure the team be elevated to first league.
With this development, we've come to the end of Buzz TV Sport News. My name is Star Jari. Do have a good night.
Many thanks to Star Jari for our sports news. Well, with this development, we've come to the end of Boss TV News. But before we go, let's recap on our top stories. The standard bearer of the Coalition for Democratic Change, George Weah, warns his partisans against provocation during these elections. The chairperson of the National Election Commission, Davietta Brown Lasana, urges politicians to engage the current campaign process on a peaceful and tolerant manner and form. And Grand Bassa County District 5 Representative Hopeful Christine Joa Setro Dennis calls on her female colleagues to remain firm, focused, and committed to their political goals, void of distraction. Many thanks for watching. I have been your presenter, Vanessa P. Karn. Do have yourselves a good night.